Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Got something a little bit different today. Not drastically different, but road race. We are in the advanced MX-5 series here at Watkins Glen International, running the boot layout. Ran this course a few weeks, I think it was this season, in the production car challenge. And production car challenge was off well, they're off for me this week because I don't have the track. I figured since almost every time I run one of those, it's an all MX-5 field. I just run the advanced MX-5 series and have basically the same thing, just with 10 more minutes, so a few more laps to try to learn and do the best that I can. So we'll see what we can do. Kind of mid-pack in this field. I think it only split once, so it's probably a little bit of a stronger field, but there's some weaker people at the bottom of it, so it could be an interesting race. We'll see how that dynamic plays out. Just going to try to do the best that I can in qualifying. Going out right now on my warm-up lap. With it being, I don't know if it's top split or not. I don't know where I'm going to fall pace-wise. I'm probably, still a second off of where I want to be with that 209.754, but we'll just have to see how it shakes out. This track is, it's going to be the same thing as the production car challenge. It leads to a lot of aggressive racing. Guys knowing that there's only really a few corners they can pass on and trying to get as far ahead of somebody as they can, because the draft is such a big deal here that it's more or less going to be survival of the fittest and staying out of anything, which is hard to do, and I don't want to have to give up a ton of positions, but I may have to do it in order to try to keep the car clean. So, see what we can do. Push a little wide there on turn 10. Hopefully just reset and get a little bit of a better run off of turn 11 to start the first lap. I think the second lap should probably be faster, but I'm just going to try to do the best that I can here. Lay down probably a little bit more of a conservative first lap just to get a time in. And then the second lap I'll push a little bit harder and see what I can get out of it. Really trying to work on using all the track available, as little steering inputs as possible, maximizing on throttle time without, pushing the car too wide, trying to keep the momentum up. I think if I can learn how to drive these fast at a lot of different tracks, it'll translate to a lot of other series as well. There's a lot of good baseline to learn out of this, so we'll just see what we can do. Not a great start to the first lap, but not terribly far off. Bus stop's been kind of make or break point of the lap for me. I guess it's technically called the inner loop, but I've either been able to hit it and gain a lot of time, or I've missed it badly and lost a lot of time. You can see that time did not hit it very well, lost almost 4/10 through that sector, so just gonna try to make it up this back side of the lap if I can. If not, we'll just roll with it for the first one and then try to improve on the second lap. I think this course and this layout's a lot of fun. I'm still kind of undecided on the MX-5. I think the MX-5, just with it being underpowered, I tend to like it on a lot of the shorter tracks where the draft isn't quite as big of a factor. But I ran the Radicals here, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I don't think it's the course at all. I think it's, like I said, the car combination that just, it's not quite as good here as I would like it to be, compared to other tracks. But make the most of it. Still plenty for me to learn. So yeah, not a very good first lap. And I screwed up turn 11 there, so it's going to mess up this second lap as well. Just try to do the best I can to make up time. 210.63, not good at all. Would not be surprised if that was only 6th of 6 so far. Try to get the second one in. I was at a loss for speed coming into one because of how bad I messed up 11, and then did not drive one very well at all, so just going to be playing catch up, just try to improve that time if I can. It is standing starts in this series, so the further up I can be, potentially the more I can try to avoid any mayhem, but I'm sure even at the front people are going to dive it in on turn 1. Try to see if I can improve in the bus stop or the inner loop here. managed to do a little bit better. About a couple tenths or so faster that time compared to the last lap, but unfortunately I gave up too much in turn 1 to really come out ahead, but still running a little bit faster right now. Just to make the most out of the heel if I can.
The leader's just
gain a little bit more time.
2:10.18. Fastest lap for Kendrick, 2:10.12.
It's like guys are starting to turn in their second laps, I would guess.
The leader has just done a 2:10.10.
Looks like people aren't really getting into the 209s yet, but I would expect somebody to do it, although again this could be a weaker field, so. Downshifted to first on accident there. And pushed it off, get the off track. So the lap's going to be disallowed, but we were slower anyways. Just pushed it a little too hard, tried to make it up, but deal with it, move on. 7th place, I guess, so far, if that's where I end up, is not horrific. I know I've got more pace in the car, so just need to drive a little bit better. We're falling back a little bit more as people start to turn in their laps. But only 20 seconds left in qualifying, so it's possible. I guess I could stay in the top half of the field. I think there was, like I said, 26 cars, I want to say. Let's take a look. Yeah, 26 in the field. We were car number 14. About 6/10 off or so. But I really feel like, obviously, if I could run that, closer to what I could do, I could be, more in this 6th place range. So pick up a couple spots, but gonna be starting on the left side, so obviously not the most ideal line going into turn 1, but I guess gives me the chance to get out of the way, although obviously you can't use too much of the runoff now with the track rules, so we'll see what we can do though. Get lined up as everybody starts to get gridded up. We'll get paints refreshed, and we'll jump in the car. This is a mostly foreign field. We've got a couple different people from the States. Looks like 6 maybe in total. So we'll see what we can do. I'll try to have the best race that I can. Gonna pull up session best lap. Again, draft is going to play quite a big effect on this, so I think I'm just going to do the best that I can to try to pick up spots when I can, and then if I find somebody that's close to me in pace, I'll just hang with them until the end of the race. It's probably going to go anywhere from 15 to 17 laps, depending on what the pace does, 35 minutes total. Yeah, if I feel like somebody in front of me is kind of holding me up, and I think I have the pace to get by them and get closer to somebody, then I'll try to get by them, but if we're pretty similar in pace and we're catching a group in front, then I'm just going to stay behind them, use the draft, and try to work both of us forward together rather than continue to fight with somebody and we alternate back and forth. I know that makes for what seems like more exciting racing, but it ends up hurting you when you're trying to move forward, so just going to try to do the best I can. See where the one's starting. Looks like he chose not to qualify. Which probably is a smart decision if I had to guess, but I'm going to try to make this 8th place work as best as I can.
The track temp is
Like I said, it is a standing start, so not the best of these, but I'm just going to try to do the best that I can with it. Going to get ready to go.
Go, go, go.
Guess a little bit of a better start than the 5. We'll see where the 5 goes. Just going to stay behind him, work our way up through the gears into turn 1. Pretty clean so far through turn 1. Got a nice gap. We got the 3 behind us and the 5 in front of us. Nobody to our left or right, which is nice. A little bit of a wreck going on here in the S's. Able to avoid one car. He comes back in front of traffic. And you've got the 16, who is, excuse me, the 6, who's the other one that was involved. We'll see how much damage he has, if he's off pace or not. But glad to avoid that first incident. I go right, get myself settled, see if the 6 is going to end up losing it. It's a bit out of control coming out of the inner loop. So we're just going to hang on his left side, clear him through the outer loop. Should put us into 6th place now. See if he's actually got the pace to come back or if he's going to be fighting some damage. I don't think they made too much contact with the wall, so I think he shouldn't be too bad that way. It's just a matter of what kind of pace he's going to have and what his tires are going to be like. You can see the 5 working to the inside of the 16 through the heel. Just going to start. I think the 5's probably the car I'm going to want to latch onto, but we'll see what the 16 does. He may be the one that I want to draft with. I was glad that this first lap has been relatively clean, and I've been able to pick up a couple spots. Obviously, being car number 14, the expectation for finishing position is pretty far back. 16 blinks and comes back, so that's going to be fun to deal with if that continues to happen. Should normally be able to run that wide open. Didn't take the best entry, but as the grip comes up, I should be able to do a little bit more with that. Able to pull away from the 6 a little bit. Looks like the 6 and 3 maybe getting into a little bit of a battle down the front stretch.
P6.
I'm gonna watch next time if I get closer to RPMs to make sure I shift into 5th, avoid that chip. I don't think it hurt me too much this lap. Looks like the 16's getting a decent draft off the 5. See if those two work together to try to catch up to the 9, or if they're going to run side by side and battle each other. 3 was able to clear the 6, so we'll see if the 3 starts catching me. Backing off a little bit earlier into the inner loop than I normally would. 16 seems to be a bit wild through it. So just keep an eye out on that. Catches the curb, gets a little loose there in the outer loop. It's going to push a little wide. Got a spinner there on the inside. That was the 7. We're all able to avoid him. 3 is catching up, so might be one of those washes where I end up in 6th after the 3 goes by. I'm technically 5th right now, but 3 could get by and could put me 1 spot back. But we'll see how it plays out. 16 does his blinking again. Just gotta drive like he's not there. He pops back up. Runs me kind of off the track. He's all over. I definitely want to try to clear him as quickly as I can. Had to brake once he popped back up and ran me up the track. Allowed the 3 to close back up big time. Try to get as much momentum as I can, see if I can stay close enough to him that maybe I can get him going into the inner loop next time.
The leader has just done a 210 at 6-1. P5.
Just a little bit of a bump there. Overshot the corner just slightly. 16 slowed up a little bit more than I thought he would. But thankfully no incident points out of it. I want to see if I can finally get a 0x in a road race. I feel like this is kind of a cross between a sprint and a endurance race for official series, at least. 35 minutes is kind of right there. Try to take advantage of the 5 backing out. Take that position away. We'll see if we can work back to the 16 and eventually get by him. I think he knew the 16 was going to be crazy, so he backed out, so I kind of just tried to take advantage and follow through without, you know, really being overly aggressive about it. '16 runs way wide off the corner and blinks again. We'll see where he pops back up as he's floating through midair. Get a little too early into the heel. 16's gonna be a blast to get around. I have no clue where he's going. See if the 5 can close back up. Don't know if I have anything for the 9 or the 2, but like I said, I feel like I'm quicker than the 16, so I just got to try to run smooth laps and see if I can work my way back to him. He seems like he's making plenty of mistakes that I should be able to get by him. The 3's working by the 5 as well, so that's definitely one car I have to look out for. He seems to be much quicker than I am. 16 gets into the wall. Not sure if that was part of the blink. No idea where he's going to pop back up, so I'm just going to run here.
I'll give you space, Michael. I'm just trying to reattach to the...
Okay, he was way ahead.
Nice one, Jake. This is great. Come on, keep nailing those exits. P4.
Didn't have a clue where to expect him to pop back up. Technically, ran a faster lap than I did in qualifying, but again, the draft's gonna, help with that. You're gonna see faster laps in the race because of the draft. Try to get the run here down the back stretch. See if the 16's gonna block. Just gonna try to go to his right side, see if I can outbrake him going into the inner loop.
Kendrick is leading the race.
See if I can get him to bail.
Time is good. Brilliant. Nice.
He's going to get a run back out of the inner loop. We're just going to stay to the right side through the outer loop. Trying to outwork him. This is going to be a seesaw battle back for a little bit, but we'll see if I can try to pull away. Close up on the 9 in the, or the 2 in the 9. 2 was able to get by the 9, so we'll see if he starts pulling away. 3's definitely quicker than me. He's doing a great job working his way up through. Just trying to do the best I can to get away from the 16. Finally got out of his shadow in the blinking. I knew there was an aggressive move going down the backstretch into the inner loop, but I needed to do what I could to get by the 16. Wasn't going to wait behind his blinking the entire race. Overshot turn 9 a little bit there.
The gap to Hansen in front is now 2.0.
Should be able to run a little bit of a faster lap if I don't have to deal with anybody pushing too hard around me. Like I said, hopefully the 3's going to have to contend with the 16 and it'll take him a little bit longer to get by him and I can build up a little bit of a lead. It's about as wide as I want to push the exit out of 11, but trying to use as much track as I can to keep the momentum up.
P3. Sector 3 time is fast.
Overshot turn 1. Not a good one at all. You can see the 16 goes wide, makes the mistake, and the 3 gets by with no problem, so wish I could have had that luck. So you got the 3, the 16, and the 6 all lined up. Not sure what happened to the 5. He's fallen back to at least 7th. 9's gonna go look on the right-hand side of the 2, down the back stretch into the inner loop. 2's gonna fall in behind.
Alright, Jake, the next car is Kendrick.
If the 3 gets to me, I think I just have to let the 3 go. I think he's too quick. And it's probably going to be smarter to let him go right in behind him and let him pull me through. A little wide exit there out of the outer loop. I feel like I'm overdriving a little bit trying to get away from everybody, but they've all got the draft working off of me and they're all closing back up. It's just kind of how this goes. I feel like the person sitting in second actually has the advantage.
Don't be intimidated. Keep him behind you.
You have to be a lot faster than somebody to be able to pull away from them.
Sector 2 is 0.30 off the pace.
But I'm just trying to do the best that I can. This is nice that we're a little bit separated, but everybody, for the most part, seems to be pretty respectful, so makes it a little bit easier to get into rhythm and try to click off clean laps. Catch a little bit too much of the curb there, kind of slide the car out of the corner. Didn't hurt me too terribly, other than the front 2 were pulling away a little bit. Trying to bring the exit out of 11 a little bit better to get a little bit of a better run. Able to gain a little bit time on the 3 compared to when we entered 9.
That Last lap was a 2:10.68.
Trying to hit turn one a little bit better this time. You can see a lot better of a run. That's what I'm going to need to do if I want any shot at getting back to the 2 or the 9. So he's going to try to get the run on the right-hand side down the backstretch. The longer those two continue to do this kind of battle, the closer I will be able to get along with the rest of the front 6.
The car in front of us is Hanson.
3 is just so much better than I am through the inner loop. It's amazing how much more time he can gain. Just need to learn how to drive these things a little bit more on the edge and be able to push it a little bit harder. 6 is working his way by the 16. Also trying to learn how to use the engine RPMs to slow the car down a little bit more than just the brake. A little bit of quicker downshifts to kind of hit it and help slow it down. Entered a little bit too shallow that time. It's going to hurt the run off the corner.
Hanson in. The gap is 0.5.
You can see with them running back and forth and battling side by side how much time I've been able to gain. Now I'm close enough to try to take advantage of the draft. Overshot turn 8 there. It's going to allow the 9 to pull away a little bit. Push just a little bit out of 9 there. Just got to try to minimize some of those mistakes. Took the throttle a little too early. Had to continue to lift. That's going to kill the momentum down the front stretch. Catch just enough of the draft to kind of stabilize the lap.
Okay, Jake. We're matching race pace.
Not a great entry into 1. Feel like I did not drive it quite as hard as I needed to. 3 staying about even with me. He's been consistently about a half second back. Upshifted a little too early there. Hopefully it doesn't stall the momentum too bad down the backstretch out of the S's. See if I can try to draft back with the 9 and catch some of his slipstream.
Don't let this guy intimidate
It's going to look to the right side of the 2 going into the inner loop. Just try to get aggressive enough entry to close up on him without getting around him.
Kendrick.
Like I said, the more these 2 battle side by side, it's just going to provide all of us getting on top of each other. Because the 3's even closed up. 24 gets out of the way, thank you to him. Overshoot the corner a little bit, but able to recover. Not worried so much about the lap times, as lap times are kind of going to be dictated by what the cars in front do. It's more about just driving as efficient as I can, stay with everybody. It's going to be a battle like this for the rest of the race where, like I said, I think the right strategy is just to kind of sit behind them. You know, sit somewhere close enough that I can make a move on the last lap to go for the win, but, you know, no reason to push and be the one continually getting set up for passes. Just watch these 2 continue to go back and forth. I don't think tire wear is a massive thing in the series, but if they continue to go back and forth, tire wear could possibly come into effect that I could have a little bit more left at the end of the race compared to them. But I don't think it's going to be anything like we saw in the Rookie Legends race. 6 has done a good job. 16 still in the 6, but quite a bit back, about 2 seconds back from the 6, so really the front 5 have all pulled away. Clip a little too much of the curb, kind of sends the car out a little bit.
Okay, Jake. The next car is Hanson.
Just watching these 2 go back and forth, I guess it's going to provide you guys with the most entertainment right now, because I'm not really feeling like getting mixed into this battle unless the 3 and the 6 really start putting a ton of pressure on me. I think I'm fine with just kind of sitting back here in 3rd and following everybody. End up breaking a little early 3s. thinking about looking to the right side. I'm not trying to block, I'm just trying to take as consistent of a line as I can through to keep the car from stepping out. I guess the biggest goal is keep myself as smooth as possible, stay with these guys. That'll give me the shot to make the move at the end of the race. He's definitely looking like he wants to get by. I just don't know how I'm going to do it to not lose this pack. I don't have a problem letting them by, I just got to figure out how to do it so that I can stay with everybody and still be in a position where I can, you know, make a last lap move. Feels like I'm kind of playing a Daytona or a Talladega race in a sense, just on a road course. It's definitely making the laps click off a little quicker. So we are going to be 8 down. Haven't got the 15-minute call yet, so... check the time. Just about halfway through, 17 and a half down, 17 and a half to go.
Jake, that's half distance. Fuel levels are fine.
CrewChief calls that out now. Front 5 of us continue to pull away from the 16-6 mix move to get by the 3. Like I said, if those two continue to run side by side, we'll be able to pull away a little bit, but I think they'll still probably be able to stay close enough to the draft. 9's going to work on the left side of the 2 going into the inner loop. 2's going to cut up in front. Just chose to stay way left to try to avoid that, and that put me in a bad spot. 6 and 3 almost got into me. I just totally botched the outer loop up.
Hold your nerve, just keep it smooth, no mistakes.
Probably should have just broke a lot sooner and let everybody go by, but that was a weird situation that I wasn't quite sure how to handle. I think if I drive well, I should be able to catch back up to the 2 and the 9. Like I said, they show no propensity of wanting to work together, so don't think they quite have that strategy in mind. And it's a matter of whether or not the 6 and 3 are going to want to do the same thing. The more we all work together, the 5 of us can just continue to gap the field. 5 works his way back by the 16, so he's trying to work his way back up to us where he was earlier in the race. 16 gets back by him. I think the 16 just blinked out is what I saw. Because there's no way the 16 obviously made that much time, so I think he just disappeared from the track again and came back. He has actually closed up a little bit on us, but I think that might have been due to the time we lost in the inner loop. I feel like I'm consistently having a better turn 11 than 2 and the 9 ahead.
That was a 211, my take 6.
Trying to get the best turn 1 I can, see if I can find some time there.
Alright, Jake, 15 minutes left, that's 15 minutes.
20 down, 15 minutes to go. Guess we should probably go 17 laps, I'm thinking. Starting to pull back away from the 16 a little bit. See what the 2 does going into the inner loop. Just got to keep watching out for this in case contact happens. Catch a little bit too much of the curb, kind of unsettles the car. Able to get through it a little bit better than the last lap, though. Still not anywhere near as efficient as I wanted to be. We're going to have the 20 up ahead as we work our way into the boot section. Kind of overshoot the corner. 6 kind of looks to the left side, thinks a little bit better of it. That was mostly from me overshooting the corner.
Not so easy.
So took a good lap and lost a lot of time by doing that, but we're still closing up on the front two, so not a big deal.
Is 0.47 off the pace.
Like I said, the front five have all been pretty close. I would imagine it'll stay that way. Unless somebody makes a mistake. Not sure where the 20 went. Pushed a little wide out of turn 10. Not a bad recovery, just a bad exit out of the inner loop and not a good outer loop. Trying to catch what I can there in turn 1, improve that. I think turn 1 and the inner loop are my two biggest sections where I can find the most time. Just gonna try to draft behind the 2. I know the 6 is gonna be doing the same thing. See what happens here between the 2 and the 9. This is gonna be the similar situation again.
Just keep it smooth, no mistakes.
9 fills the hole in between the 2 and I tried to react a little better this time. I don't see any point to trying to get by the 9 and sit behind the 2 because I think the 9 is just going to try to be aggressive and get back by me if I do that. I don't really see any reason to do that this early on. 6 is definitely a little bit quicker, I think, than the 3. I don't know if the 3's off pace a little bit, if he's laying back. I think the 6 might be the fastest of the front 5. And I think, honestly, myself, the 6 and the 3 might actually be faster than the 2 and the 9. 3 runs a little bit wide there. It's going to fall back a little bit. See if he's able to stay close enough to maintain the draft. 6 might be the new 3 that I need to just let him by. Might be a little bit easier to do now as there's about a half second between 3 and the 6. No idea why I downshifted there. It's going to hurt me down the front stretch. You see the 6 probably try to take a look to the right side going into turn 1.
Okay, Jake, you've got half your fuel left. The leader has
Just going to let him go through 1. Try to cut in behind him, stay ahead of the 3. 6 is a little bit slower out of turn 1 than I wanted. He's going to hurt a run up the S's. I'm not trying to get by him. I'm just trying to slide in right behind and not lose much momentum, which I wasn't able to do because you see the 3 come rocking in. So he's going to look probably to the left side down the front or the back stretch, which is going to put me in a bad spot. I'm just going to go to the right side of the 6 now, so that way I have a better entry into the inner loop.
Good pass.
Wasn't really trying to set up the pass, I was just trying to get myself a clean entry into the inner loop so that I didn't lose control at all.
You've got 10 minutes left, 10 minutes to go.
25 minutes down, 10 minutes to go. I think you're going to start seeing the sense of urgency ramp up a little bit now as we're getting into the closing stages of the race. 2 and the 9 needed the 3 of us to battle the pole away, but I think, again, if the 3 of us can work together, we can easily close back up on the 2 of them. I think the 6 is definitely going to look to the right side now. Try to give him as much room as I can without hurting myself. Really don't want to be doing that, but these guys don't seem to understand the whole concept of working together.
The gap to Kendrick ahead is increasing. It's now 1.2 seconds.
And the longer I have to continue giving up a line into the corner, the more time I'm going to lose to the front 2. It's too early to be making battles like this. Tires are wearing out. I made contact with the wall. It's going to hurt me down the front stretch. Thankfully, the 3 and the 6 were battling side by side coming out of the corner, so able to pull away.
Sectors 1 and 3 are 0.48 off the pace. Sector 2 is 0.40 off the pace.
See if I could try to close up now to the 2. Likely 5 laps to go. Two behind. We're pulling away a little bit. We're pulled away big time from the 16.
Kendrick is now in the lead.
Those two continue to battle, which will allow me to close up. Gotta get as best of a run through the inner loop as I can. Carried a little too much speed into the outer loop. That killed that corner big time. Would have really gained on the 9 had I not had that mess up. A little bit of separation now between the 3 and the 6. Now I'm just starting to overdrive corners a little bit. Need to dial it back in, and we'll be fine. Got a big lead over the 3, so I can just focus on the 2 up ahead. Really, I don't even need to focus on them. I just need to focus on driving a line. I don't know why I'm so terrible this lap all of a sudden. 20 is back up ahead. See if he disappears this time before we get by him or what happens. He's cutting corners way too early. Just turning in way too early. You can see it's allowing the 3 to close up ever so slightly. Catch a little too much curve, get a little too loose there out of 9. Gonna brake a little bit earlier this time into 11. Wait a little longer to pick up the throttle so I don't go quite as wide. It's just part of the tires wearing out a little bit, so it's better to give up a little bit of speed that way than to have to lift and lose a lot more momentum. You can see we're pulling away from the 3 now. Need to brake a little bit sooner into 1, a little bit more
Jake,
brake.
Next car is Kendrick.
See if the 9's going to be smart and try to close up to the 20, use the draft, or what's going to go on there.
Sanchez behind is now 1.9 seconds.
Got back to the 3, staying fairly consistent. Let's see what the 2's going to try to set up going into the inner loop. They've been trading back and forth every lap. See if he's going to do the same thing again. Yep. Bails out of that move, comes back. Make sure I don't overdrive the outer loop this time. Bunch of yelling going on for somewhere in the field. Looks like the 9 might be pulling away from the 2 a little bit, but I think the 2 is still probably close enough to be able to strike. See what the 20 does as we catch him here through the heel. Not sure which direction he's going to go. 6 is caught back up to the 3. They may get back into a battle. We'll see what the 20 is going to do. Is he's going to be in the worst spot.
That's 5 minutes.
He backs out. Thank you to him.
We'll be on the podium here.
Third place would be nice, but I would love to obviously try to make a run for the win. Working a little too wide out of 9. Fortunately, get the first off track, so not going to be an incident-free race, but still an improvement for me to go that long without one. Also allows the 2 and the 9 to pull away a little bit. Just trying to make subtle adjustments, see if I can get my way closer to them. Starting lap 15.
Under pressure. He'll make a mistake.
So my guess is 3 to go. Trying to make an adjustment there to get a little bit of a better run out of 1. See how long it takes the 3 and the 6 to get up to the 20 and by him. Maybe that'll buy me a little bit of distance between the 2 of us and Make a third place more likely, at worst. 2's going to look back to the right side again on the backstretch. These 2 are just going to continue to do this. 9 bails early to fall in behind the 2 but stay in front of me.
Front is Hanson.
Again, I'm not concerned with getting around both of them right now until the last lap. Just need to stay close enough to be able to do that.
Sorry, Victor.
We're still pulling away from the 3, which is good.
3 bases back.
So the longer those 2 battle as well, that's better for me. Look at the throttle just a hair too early. Able to save too big of a mistake. Just going to continue to stay behind the 9.
Nice move, Senti.
A little too much of an early entry into 9 that time. Causes me to lose a little bit of time off of
Did not
the
come back
exit.
down.
Lose a little bit of time through 10 as well. Lost a lot of time out of 11.
We'll be warned about track limits.
Actually clipped early, got another off track, but we'll deal with it last lap. So we're only going to go 16 this race.
Okay, Jake. One more to go. Keep it together. We'll be on the podium.
I'm going to try to look to get as close as I can to him. Likely going to be a third place finish, which I will gladly take. Just see if I can get close enough to try to set anything up at any point. Just made too many mistakes there, 9, 10, and 11 that last lap. See if I can try to use the draft to close back up on the backstretch. May see some contact here now that it's the last lap as well between these 2. Nobody's going to want to give anything. Oh, I overshoot the inner loop, able to save it, so it's likely going to be a third place unless something happens between the 2 and the 9. 2's kind of all over the place, but I think that's going to be more of a connection issue than him actually being that loose. Clip the curb a little bit, get a little loose there with the outer loop. No pressure at all from behind, so I hate that I gave up a chance at the win, but feeling pretty good that we should be able to come home with a third place finish. This is, again, a weaker field, but third place for me and being consistently this close to the front all race makes me feel a lot better about the direction that my road racing is headed. Still light years away from where I want to be, but I think it's been a lot better than what it has in recent weeks. Just gotta stay close enough in case somebody up here gets some contact and sent around. Maybe one or both fall back and I can sneak my way into a second place finish. Of course, when I'm too far back to do anything is when I drive a better 9. A little bit of a better 10 as well. It's always how I seem to do it. Just right now, I'm not as good under pressure. I'll take a third place though. It was a lot more fun than I expected it to be. Actually, pretty clean up overall for the front. Really, really clean up front.
Well done,
So
Jake. Great drive.
Well
That's
done,
a podium.
Jesper, Jacob. Cracking race.
yeah, great racing with you guys. That was a lot of fun. Take a look at all the
Nice drive,
instants
Ivan.
while we let some people finish to be able to look at the results.
It was a really nice fight.
Jump back to the first lap.
Next time I'll try to stay with you guys up front. Good race.
See what happens off the start. Didn't get a terrible start compared to the 5. I actually was closing up on him and then just letting him go. You know, I didn't see any reason to dive it early. I didn't want to be the one to do that, so just kind of took a little bit of a conservative entry there into 1 off the start, and that's what allowed the 3 to close up on me. But Let's see what happens here. We got the 13s going to do an off track and drill the inside wall in the S's, and then come back across the track and drill the outside wall, and then get a few cars. Wow, that was a bigger wreck than that ever needed to be. Wow, it's what you're going to see out of here. And just try to thread that one, it looks like, and then the whole field kind of gets stalled. So here's what's going to happen to the 16. Oh, he blinks. Oh, we're going to be seeing this a lot. We're just going to keep fast forwarding that. It's blinking. Looks like that might be most of the 7. Just gets in a little hot and has to stay on the brakes to get off the 9. Loses it into 6. The blink by the 16. 23's gonna blink and overdrive it. 1's gonna... Excuse me, that's not the 1. A little bit of an off track, kind of similar to what I did. Let's see some contact with the wall here. Yep. 24 is going for an adventure through the exit of the inner loop, spinning around in the outer loop. 16 is going to blink, and that was it. That was actually a really, really clean race. Let's take a look at the results. Everybody should be... No, we're not done. Never mind. We'll keep going through these. 19's going to go around on turn 1. 24's going to lose it out of 9. Not sure what it's doing, so I think everybody should be done. I think it was actually a pretty clean race overall, so we'll take a look at the thing. Let's see. Not sure what is going on. Jump back in the sim. Take a look here at least. The results. Again, we finished 3rd. Let's take a look. Looks like quite a few instant points actually. Wow, that was a lot more than I expected. The 24 had quite a few. Let's see if I can get the results to pull up now. There we go. All right, that looks a lot better. That was actually top split. It was just a really, really weak field. 1403, double split race. 925 was the other one, pretty low. Quite a few lead changes. Like I said, you saw the 2 and the 9 just coming back and forth. So glad to finally get a fairly clean race. Just 2 incident points for those 2 off tracks. So able to gain 0.16. Still really, really low at 2.49, but trying to work my way back up and able to have a decent I-rating day. Finishing 3rd when I was car number 14, so just over 1450. Nowhere near where I want to be. I would love to get this up to like $2,000 or 2,500, but got to take baby steps and get myself in the right way. Not the fastest lap. Looks like that's going to go to the 6th, most likely. Unless somebody in the back really turns something. Yeah, 209.814. So quarter of a second off or so. But again, I never really felt like I got to open it up quite enough for what I wanted to do. I was always kind of watching out for people and staying behind the 2 and the 9. So I was running more of a race strategy there and trying to run, a hot lap out of it. So pretty happy with it overall. Just made that mistake on the 15th lap that caused the issue that I couldn't, stay closer to the 2 and 9 and try to battle them. But lessons learned, and overall, really good race. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys got to enjoy some fun racing out the view of the windshield, and look forward to getting you out some more ones. So until the next one, I hope all your laps are fast, your races are clean, and your finishes are good. Thanks for watching.